Hello. During this session we're going to be looking at adding 100 tens and units and 100 tens and units. This follows on from the previous session. The example below is from the previous session. We have the question 245 add 36, and if you remember from the previous session, we line the units up, we line the tens up, and we line the hundreds up, and then we start from the least significant digit, which is the units. 5 add 6 equaled 11, and we wrote the question 5 add 6 beside just to remind us. We then moved to the tens, which was 40 add 30, and that gave us 70, and then we wrote the question there, 40 add 30. And finally we moved to the hundreds, where we have 200 by itself, so 200, and then all we do is add up the answers. 200 add 70 is 270, add 11 is 281. So today we're going to look at a shorter method for 100 tens and units, add 100 tens and units. The first bit is still the same. We have to make sure we line all our columns up. So we set out the 415 with the 167 below. We make sure the units, the 5 and the 7, are in the same column. The 1 and the 6, or the 10 and the 60 are in the same column, and the 400 and the 100 are in the same column. We then move on to the sum, and we're going to do 5 add 7. 5 add 7 is 12, but we record it like this. We put the 2 in the units column, and we carry the 10 from the 12 and put it in the tens column. We then move on to that column, and we see we have 1 add 6 add 1. 1 add 6 add 1 we know is 8. We then move on to the hundreds column, and we have 4 add 1. 4 add 1 is 5, giving the answer 582. Just to prove that I'm not lying to you, I've set out how we did it in the last strategy on the right here. So again, I've lined up the units, the tens and the hundreds, and this time I've added the units together. 5 add 7 equals 12, and I've written 5 add 7. 10 add 60 equals 70, and then we have 10 add 60 just to remind us, and then we've had 400 add 100 is 500. All we then do is add the 500 to the 70 to give us 570. 570 add 12 gives us 582. So I'm not going to try to trick you. Both ways get to the same answer, 582. This method is a shorter method, which only should be used once you know how to do this method. Let's try another example. 263 add 252. Again, we make sure everything is lined up. The units, the tens, and the hundreds. And this is a quick method. So we're going to start with saying 3 add 2. 3 add 2 equals 5. We then move on to the tens column. 6 add 5. 6 add 5 is 11. We put the 1 from the unit in the 11 in the tens column, and then we carry the 1, and we put it underneath the next column, which is the hundreds. We then move on to the hundreds column, all the way down, and we see we have 2 add 2 add 1. 2 add 2 add 1 is 5. Gives us 515. Right, let's look at another example. We've got 376 add 246. Now, what we're going to do is the same as we've done all the way along. We line everything up. So we've got the units together, the tens together, the hundreds together. We look at the units first. 6 add 6. 6 add 6 is 12. You put the 2 from the units of the 12 into that column, and you carry the 1. We then move on to the tens and see we have 7, add 4, add 1. 7 add 4 add 1 is also 12. So we put the 2 into there and we carry the 1 across. We then move into that hundreds column and we have 3 add 2 add 1. 3 add 2 add 1 is 6, which gives us the answer 622. Here are 5 questions for you to try. Once you've done all 5, get a calculator and check them. If you get all 5 right, you're ready to move on to the next level. If you get 3 or 4 right, practice some more. If you get less than 3 right, ask your teacher. If you're still not sure about the method that you're using, go back and watch the video again.